I've been married to Kate Williams for 6 years. She was once the golden child of the art world before her unexpected fall from grace. I stood by her through it all. Finally, her new masterpiece Muse propelled her back to the pinnacle as the genius painter regained her fame. When reporters asked, "Who's the man in the painting?" she smiled tenderly. "He's the love of my life." That same day, I received her divorce papers. The art world buzzed as genius painter Kate Williams returned with her masterpiece Muse after years away. Every piece at her exhibition sold for astronomical prices except the show-stopping Muse itself, an exquisite oil painting depicting a white-clad youth standing moonlit by a shimmering lake, holding flowers with a smile that could launch 1,000 ships. "This one's priceless," she declared, pressed about the subject's identity. She repeated softly, "He's the love of my life." When the divorce documents arrived offering me all properties and assets while she walked away empty-handed, I watched her live, streamed interview, and called, "Congratulations on the successful exhibition," I said. Her voice chilled the line, "None of your concern. Everything becomes my concern." I countered sharply, "If you're truly leaving with nothing, shouldn't we account for the exhibition earnings as marital assets?" She snorted, "Ethan, your greed never disappoints. Money's more reliable than people," I retorted. After heavy silence, she conceded, "New papers tomorrow." "Good. Clean break." I hung up before she finished, as if sparing myself another second of this. For months earlier, I'd been praying for forever with her. It was our 6th anniversary, Valentine's Day. I'd flown secretly from France to surprise Kate. Outside our apartment, I found a shivering teenager with luggage, phone pressed to his reddened hands. "Guess where I am?" He laughed into the device, boyish features glowing at whatever response he received. "Missed you too much. Had to come." It reminded me of our college days during long separations, when we'd impulsively cross cities just to reunite. Touched, I reached for my phone to call Kate, then froze as she burst from our building. She ran straight into the boy's arms. He embraced her like rediscovered treasure. Their passionate kiss in the snowy silence could have melted glaciers. When Kate finally noticed me standing statue-like nearby, her first instinct was shielding the boy. "Who's he?" the youth whispered, protective arm around her. "My husband," I answered tonelessly, dragging my luggage across what suddenly felt like continental divide. The boy stepped forward. "My fault. Don't blame her." I stared past him at my wife. "Anything to add?" Kate clasped the boy's hand tightly. "You see how it is. Maybe the cold numbed my brain." No shouts. No drama. I simply turned homeward. She didn't follow. Our balcony window gaped open, curtains dancing in the icy wind. I could picture her throwing it open in delight when he called. The unfinished canvas by the window confirmed everything. There he was, roses in hand, blush on cheeks, jacket fluttering exactly as in life. Once, Kate had painted me with that same devotion. Kate and I first met at 16 in high school. Back then, she was legendary, a wealthy heiress, top student and campus beauty wrapped in golden aura. As a country boy fresh from rural roots, we existed in different worlds. Yet fate made us desk mates. My clumsy English and rustic accent often drew mockery. She'd defend me, patiently tutoring with laughter that made spring flowers blush. For 3 years I secretly loved her, never daring hope she'd feel the same. After college entrance exams, she shocked everyone by choosing art school over elite universities. "Painting's my true calling," she declared, her family's support allowing such whims. My scores only earned me a Southern university 1,000 miles away. That summer before separation, she visited my village for sketching. I guided her through wildflower hills and cloud-dappled forests. On her last night, my mother served homemade plum wine. One cup left her giggling and disoriented. She collapsed into my arms, cheeks flushed, whispering, "Ethan, I like you." Packing her supplies next morning, I discovered countless sketches of myself. Walking her to the station, I finally asked, "Kate, is it too late to confess?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Never too late when it's you." For years of long-distance love followed. I poured devotion into every letter and call, ensuring she never doubted being cherished. She'd tease between kisses, "Ethan, you adore me so." From 18 to 28, 10 years of shared dreams. Now those memories tear through me like shrapnel. I sit amidst shredded canvas until dawn breaks. She returns smelling of hotel toiletries, guilt flashing across her face. Since when? My voice cracks like burnt timber. She confesses everything. Noah, the senior art student from last year's alumni event. Their shared passion for Van Gogh's stars and Monet's water lilies. 10 months eclipsing our decade. He's my soulmate, she says. Tenderness blooming for this boy who discusses brushstrokes under moonlight. I truly love him. Rage erupts. A home, wrecking student after your money. Her gaze freezes. Noah doesn't obsess over wealth like you. The barb finds its mark. Kate had always romanticized artistic purity, refusing fortune for meaningful connections. Then her family's bankruptcy. The debt collectors. Her parents' fatal crash. She was trapped at home by debt collectors. I sneaked over the wall to find her, holding Kate in my arms as I pleaded. Kate, marry me. I may not have status or wealth, but I have unwavering devotion. After consulting lawyers about her parents' debts having no legal obligation for children to repay, I still watched helplessly as relentless harassment threatened to destroy Kate's life. With my mother's blessing, I liquidated our family savings to negotiate partial debt repayment through shrewd bargaining. Our early married life in the leaky rented apartment tested us. Typhoon rains flooding our floors. Winter winds stealing sleep. Huddling together for warmth through endless nights. When Kate tried selling paintings to former admirers, she only met humiliation from those she'd once snubbed. I forbade further attempts, working 3 jobs while spending 99% of my earnings on her comforts. The day I collapsed from anemia, induced temporary blindness. Her trembling hands and fractured voice, as she called Ethan, revealed depths of fear I'd never witnessed. Marrying you was my life's joy, she wept, but becoming your burden destroys me. I kissed her tears, smiling through the ache. My foolish girl, you're my reason for breathing. When she demanded divorce years later, her bombshell confession, Ethan, I'm carrying his child, shattered me completely. Memory flashed to our own lost child in the 2nd year of marriage. Her tearful abortion decision whispered through midnight embraces, we can't make him suffer this poverty. How desperately I'd worked since then, climbing from liquor-soaked corporate schmoozing to building my wine import business, all to recreate the family we'd sacrificed. By the 5th year, with house and savings secured, my hopeful let's try for a baby met her distracted brush off. Her artistic block consumed her, dismissing my encouragement about decorating commissions as Philistine pandering. Now this, her swollen belly containing another man's heir, her steely resolve to abandon our rebuilt life. As she walked away, the ghost of our unborn child seemed to trail her like smoke, leaving me choking on the ashes of every midnight I love you that once bound 2 starving hearts together. I froze, sensing her slip of the tongue. Kate immediately apologized, explaining she didn't look down on business people but craved validation from true professionals. Burying her face in my shoulder, she murmured, I'm just losing confidence. Perhaps our relationship had already begun cracking then, but I was too busy to notice. Soon, Kate started smiling more. I thought she'd overcome her creative block, not realizing her soul had found a new home. The boy she loved remained untouched by life's hardships, comparing her paintings to spring blossoms and winter snowflakes, the purest beauty. Meanwhile, I reeked of profit margins and stock markets. Ethan, I've wronged you. Kate's voice trembled. Our shared memories stretched through my prolonged silence before I finally growled. I won't divorce you, she retorted icily. That's not your choice. Love died with those words. When our stalemate peaked, my mother was hospitalized. Late-stage cancer. The woman who'd raised me alone, refusing to burden us even during my destitute newlywed years, now lay skeletal on white sheets. Where's Kate? She rasped. I forced cheerfulness, preparing her exhibition. Legendary art master Vince endorsed her work. Her frail smile shattered me. My Kate's finally made it, she whispered. I fled to the hallway, tears dissolving my lies. Fate's cruel joke? Days after our fight, Kate received news from France. Reclusive Vince requested to meet her. She called the boy her lucky charm, never knowing I'd pulled every string for that opportunity. Now I'd simply paved her way to another man's arms. When Mother demanded to see Kate, I swallowed pride and called. "Let's make a deal." I barked. "I'll sign the divorce if you pretend we're still together." Her instant deal twisted the knife deeper. Kate arrived radiant 2 weeks later. We performed marital bliss at Mother's bedside. "Cherish your wife," Mother wheezed, clasping our hands. "Promise me forever." Kate answered every yes while I memorized the hollow curve of her performance smile. Afterward, I lingered outside her car. Was any of it real? The wind stole my whisper. She drove away without answering. Mother died that midnight. Our staged farewell her final memory. At the funeral, Kate's tears fell on divorce papers. I signed them beside the coffin, each stroke inking out 14 years. The gallery opening buzzed with champagne and accolades. From the shadows, I watched Kate glow beside Vince and her golden boy. Her masterpiece, a dying woman's hands clutching invisible promises, sold for 7 figures. I drank until the ache numbed. Some love stories aren't meant to survive their own illusions. Tears welled up in my eyes. I desperately wanted to tell her that if she left, I'd truly become alone in this world. But the words lodged in my throat. Impossible to utter. Catherine Williams naturally patted my back, her tender gaze mirroring the 18-year-old girl I once knew. I felt dazed. Even after leaving the hospital room, our hands remained clasped. To my shame, I still craved the faint warmth from her palm. Could we possibly not get divorced? The absurd thoughts circled my mind until her phone rang, breaking the connection. When I looked up, the ghost of that young girl had vanished from Kate's eyes. She stepped aside to take the call, fragments of mundane conversation drifting over. Shameless. She suddenly giggled into the phone, cheeks flushing pink. "I'll be home soon." Watching her, I realized I was staring at a stranger. "You look terrible." She frowned after hanging up, reaching toward my forehead. I flinched away instinctively. Her hand hovered awkwardly. "We can finalize the divorce after your mother recovers." The fog in my mind cleared instantly. Agreed. But Mother never improved. Her fading memory kept demanding Kate's presence. For 3 months, Kate played her role perfectly, enduring endless repetitions of maternal advice. Noah Carter started appearing frequently during hospital visits, eventually shadowing Kate constantly. The day they arrived hand in hand, I blocked their path. "Get him out of here." Kate calmly explained Noah would wait elsewhere. When I refused to yield, snapping, "Must you flaunt your affair?" the silent boy erupted. "We're getting divorced. Stop tormenting her." He shoved forward angrily. "She's barely eaten while preparing her exhibition." Kate grasped his hand. "Don't upset the baby." Noah glared. "I can't watch her suffer like this." Their devotion turned my stomach. "Technically, you're committing adultery." I sneered. "Why not charge him hourly rates?" Kate paled. "Ethan, have you lost your mind? No wonder she despises you." Noah shot back. "Kate chooses between staying with him or leaving with me now." The outcome was inevitable. I watched Kate walk away with her lover. That evening, Mother's sudden collapse brought frantic calls. Kate answered after endless rings. "Come now," I begged. "She's dying." Crude joke. She dismissed. "You think I'd lie about this?" Silence. Then, "Noah won't let me go out pregnant in the rain." Desperation choked me. "I'll send a car? Our decade together, please." A sigh. "I'll ask him. Take whatever you want." I bargained wildly. "I'll apologize. Just come." The sky crackled with thunder, drowning the shattering sound of my pride in the darkness. A husky voice tinged with desire came through the phone. Catherine let out an unnatural moan before whispering sharply, "Stop it." The call disconnected. When I redialed, no one answered. She never showed up that night. My mother noticed something wrong and asked tentatively, "Did you and Kate have a fight?" I forced nonchalance into my voice. "No. She's on her way." Her brows furrowed deeper, demanding I call Catherine so she could speak to her directly. But the number already went to voicemail. As dawn approached, my mother's consciousness began fading. She kept murmuring, "Son, how can I rest peacefully if you're unhappy?" When daylight broke, she died clutching my hand, eyes stubbornly open. My world collapsed into rubble. I brought her ashes to our ancestral village. Catherine followed, head bowed in remorse. I'm sorry. I didn't know your mother really. I showed her the door. Exhausted. Don't call her mom. You forfeited that right. Ethan, must you be so cruel? Her voice softened. I just wanted to help with. Leave. She lingered through the modest funeral anyway, attended only by village neighbors. When others departed, I finally said, we need to talk. She nodded. I want divorce papers immediately. Her frown deepened. Let me explain about that night. I said I don't care. My voice cracked. You're at fault. I'll take everything. Try hiding assets, and I'll broadcast your affair to the world. Catherine looked wounded. The wealth was always yours. Do you really think I'd fight you for it? People change. So do you. Her eyes glistened. The Ethan I knew, the Catherine I loved died first. Our stalemate shattered by Noah's call. She stepped outside to answer. I locked the door. She never returned. That night in my childhood bed, I dreamed of my 22-year-old self recklessly bringing Catherine home, declaring we'd marry. Debt collectors pounded our door daily. My mother hid her, whispering, stay put. Let Ethan handle this. For months I negotiated until finally resolving it by New Year's Eve. I remember trudging home through heavy snow that night, frost coating my shoulders yet feeling no cold. She burst through the door first, flinging herself into my arms. I'll never leave you again, she vowed through happy tears, face glowing. Just as I opened my mouth to respond, the scene warped. I stood paralyzed, watching her kiss another man in the snow. Catherine. I screamed until my throat bled, but she kept kissing him. Darkness swallowed me whole, the sensation of endless falling. I woke with raging fever, drifting in delirium for days. When business partners texted about ruined wine shipments costing millions, I dragged myself upright. The numbers flashed, another disaster. I dressed mechanically and walked out into the storm. Then I went to the doctor alone, took medication, and recovered. Those 4 months drained me completely. My business encountered multiple setbacks, and I stayed so busy I didn't even have time to grieve. The next time I heard Kate's name was when news broke about her gaining immense fame at an art exhibition. Vince, the notoriously critical doyen of the painting world, lavished praise on her, declaring she'd been a pearl buried in dust all these years. The reclusive elder even emerged from retirement to publicly announce that Kate was the most talented young female painter he'd witnessed in his lifetime. The art world erupted. Media outlets swarmed in, their online coverage flooding the internet. Her striking appearance amplified the attention, with the hashtag #GoddessPainterKate trending atop social media charts. All her works sold out instantly, including a $1 million offer for her centerpiece muse. Kate declined. Reporters smelled a story. When asked about the man in her paintings, she openly confessed her love. My college roommate Ryan forwarded me the viral clip, demanding, why would Kate say this? Clutching the freshly delivered divorce papers, I replied, nothing special. She's fallen for someone else. We're divorcing. Ryan called immediately, furious. Everything was fine 4 months ago. Does she even know what you endured for her in France? I answered flatly, knowing changes nothing. On our 6th anniversary, I'd wanted to give Kate an extraordinary gift. Knowing her lifelong admiration for the elusive painter Vince, who'd shunned public life even in his youth and now lived in complete seclusion, I exhausted all connections to chase a lead. Rumors of him browsing Parisian street art stalls in Le Marais, using a business trip as cover. I flew to France alone. First time abroad. I lost my luggage to thieves within hours. Chasing them led me into an alley ambush by local gang members. Before blacking out, I heard French shouts scattering my attackers. I woke in hospital with minor injuries. Ryan had rescued me. We'd lost contact after he moved abroad a year post-wedding. When he asked, shouldn't Kate know? I shook my head. Back then, Kate stayed locked in her studio during what seemed like a crucial creative phase. I refused to distract her, disregarding my bandages. I returned daily to Le Marais. Ryan gaped when learning my mission, scoffing, you'll spoil her rotten. I retorted, my choice. Our wrestling matches reviving college camaraderie. I rented a street vendor's stall, displaying Kate's works from various periods. Parisian winter winds chapped my ears as I kept vigil. Ryan brought ointments while grumbling about myself, inflicted misery. After 3 weeks, nearing Valentine's Day, I prepared to leave empty-handed. Then on my final packing day, Vince appeared. He lingered over Kate's 18-year-old masterpiece, asking about the artist. Beaming, I said, "Catherine Williams," pointing at the not-for-sale tag. He questioned, "Why display it then?" I answered, "To let the world see this extraordinary artist." He studied the painting before departing with a thoughtful smile. Knowing his reputation for mentoring unknowns into masters, I sensed Kate's breakthrough. Everything unfolded smoother than imagined. True talent eventually shines. I genuinely rejoiced for her, closer than ever to her dreams. On our anniversary, I lied about being stranded in France, planning a surprise. But Kate's response chilled me. Noted. Her indifference hung like final brushstrokes on our canvas. At first, I felt a pang of sadness. But when boarding the plane, I saw Kate's post on social media, longing across mountains and seas. The heaviness in my chest instantly dissolved. Throughout the return journey, I kept fantasizing about our beautiful future together. How ironic. Her affection had long been given to someone else. "Aren't you bitter?" Ryan asked. I answered calmly, "Of course. But what matters now is living my own life well." He sighed in relief. "Ethan, sometimes your rationality terrifies me." I chuckled. "Thanks for the compliment." After hanging up, I reopened that video in the silence. Kate smiled tenderly at the camera, declaring Noah as the love of her life. The discomfort resurfaced. I called her, insisting that art exhibition earnings counted as premarital assets to be returned in divorce. She mocked me but agreed. Clearly, she couldn't wait to marry Noah. Reframing that French trip as investment helped. I gained substantial returns without total loss. This perspective brought gradual acceptance. Money truly heals wounds. That night, I uncorked my finest Bordeaux, drinking till dawn. Next morning, Ryan's voice crackled through my phone. "Open the door." Stumbling outside, I found him scowling with luggage. "Keeping major life changes from me? Not cool." "Man." I froze as he spread his arms, grinning. "Buddy's here for you." Our embrace tightened. "True friendship," I murmured. But my gratitude proved premature. For a divorcing man, witnessing new love felt like poison. When I waited for our gaming session that night, he lingered on video calls with his girlfriend. I grabbed his neck in mock fury. "Must you rub your happiness in my face? Call it counteracting toxicity." He smirked. Shameless. I admired his resilience. After being hurt so deeply, he still embraced life joyfully. Ever regret loving her? The question slipped out before I could stop it. Hearing that name, Ryan simply said, "Not every imperfect ending makes a love story tragic." I pondered deeply. Perhaps I shouldn't resent 18-year-old Kate for what 28-year-old Kate became. The girl who once lit up my world had simply vanished. I'd accept this and move on. A month later, Kate and I finalized the divorce. I purchased a vineyard in Montmartre, planning to learn winemaking in France where Ryan had settled. On my departure day, Kate married Noah in a lavish ceremony. Her couture gown glittered under chandeliers. I remembered our own wedding, threadbare dresses, plucked cotton flowers. Simple as our youthful love. The past drifted away like scattered clouds. Life quieted until visiting my mother's grave a year later. Kate stood there clutching white chrysanthemums. "Ethan," she rasped, eyes widening. "Why are you here?" I demanded coldly. "I thought I might see you." She stepped closer. "You sold everything. Changed numbers." I retreated. "State your business." Mountain wind stirred dust. Her eyes reddened. "Just wanted to talk." "Kate, you're married. Leave my parents' resting place." She stood rooted, forcing me to walk away. The girl I'd known now existed only in memory's vineyard, where new grapes would someday ferment into wine, bitter, complex, and ultimately transformative. I want to explain what happened the night my mom passed away. Kate talked on her own, regardless of whether I wanted to listen or not. She said, "I originally planned to go out. He tried to stop me, and I accidentally had a miscarriage scare." I gave a perfunctory response. "Oh." She hung her head, her tone heavy. "Ethan, I had a miscarriage that night." My hand that was arranging the sacrificial offerings paused slightly, but I still didn't say a word to her. After a while, she suddenly spoke again. If I had come that night, would you not hate me so much? I looked up and met her eyes. The sadness in them was clearly visible. I didn't understand what the point of her showing such an expression was now. I quickly averted my gaze, pretending not to see anything. Lit 3 sticks of incense for my parents, reported my recent situation to them, and told them that I was doing very well now. After the memorial ceremony, we went down the mountain. Kate kept following me and became extremely talkative. She said that we used to watch the flowers on the hillside, the birds in the forest, and the clouds in the sky together in the village. She remembered everything. But Kate, the flowers on the hillside don't bloom anymore. The birds in the forest have flown away. And even the clouds in the sky are no longer in their original shapes. Everything has changed. The old house in my hometown was in a mess and uninhabitable. I stayed in a hotel in the town for one night and then flew directly back to France. Meeting Kate again didn't stir up much of a wave in my heart. Coincidentally, Ryan founded his own fashion design brand and became very busy. I hired people for my manor, so I was very idle on weekdays and spent all day in the studio helping him. I joked, we two who studied trade. Now one is a tailor and the other is a winemaker. We're really not sticking to our proper business. He wagged his finger. No. Life is a process of gradually getting to know yourself. During our chat, I asked him, when did you develop an interest in fashion design? He hesitated for a moment and replied in a low voice. When you and Kate got married. He said that there was something I never knew. Do you remember the wedding dresses you wore at the wedding? The patterns were exquisite, but the price was incredibly cheap. You always thought I got a friend to help with it, right? I nodded. He continued. Actually, Kate was reluctant to spend money and only bought the simplest white dress and suit. But she didn't want you to feel that she was being treated badly. So she drew the patterns herself, then consulted my designer friend and embroidered the patterns on bit by bit. And the veil was also made by her. I didn't even know she could do needlework. At first, she couldn't, but my friend was very good, and she was smart. She learned it in just a few days. She was afraid you'd blame yourself, so she wouldn't let me tell you. He said that at that time. He only helped out, but when he saw us wearing them, he still felt a great sense of accomplishment. Our thoughts drifted back to the past. He recalled, on the wedding day, when you lifted Kate's veil and she saw your face and was moved to tears. I still remember that clearly. I felt a mix of emotions and let out a wry smile. She really loved me back then. Ryan thought for a while and then said, actually, I ran into Kate a couple of days ago. I didn't react much and calmly said, Paris is the capital of art. She's a painter. It's normal for her to come here. He shook his head. I think she came to find you. That night, you left something at my place. When I went to chase you, I happened to see her following you from afar, just watching and not coming forward. I joked. I remember your night, blind. Did you mistake someone? Ryan got angry. Damn it. Do you think I'm blind? I even chatted with her for a few words. Dude, I specifically told her about the time you came to Paris to find Vince. We can't do good deeds without taking credit. I remembered this and gave him a thumbs up. Ryan sighed. After she heard that, she froze up completely and looked so lost. It was kind of pitiful. I paused for a moment and said, it has nothing to do with me anymore. A very capable girl came to my manor and took excellent care of my grapes. Thanks to her, the newly brewed wine was of high quality, and I got a big order. Unexpectedly, the client who ordered the wine was holding a banquet and invited all the celebrities in the art world. Kate was also among them. When I went to deliver the wine, I ran into her and Noah. Their state was very strange. They didn't talk much and didn't seem like newlyweds. I didn't stay long. I signed the order and left. When Kate saw me, she followed me out, and Noah didn't react much. I was in a hurry to leave. Kate trotted forward and grabbed my hand. The moment our skin touched, she quickly let go. Sorry. Kate, what do you want? Ethan. She stammered. I lost my patience. She seemed to suddenly think of something. Her dull eyes instantly brightened. I want to paint a landscape painting of France. Can you be my guide? Afraid that I'd refuse, she added. You can name your conditions. I don't need money, I answered. Her entire body slumped as she pleaded in a near-begging tone. Ethan, Could you give me a chance to make amends? I looked at her coldly. Amends for what? I already know about Vince. My voice remained steady. You earned his favor through your own capabilities. I took your money. We're even. Kate lowered her head, murmuring softly, why didn't you tell me back then? Would it have changed anything? I laughed humorlessly. The sorrow in her eyes intensified as she insisted stubbornly. We might not have ended up like this. Kate, wake up. The bitterness seeped into my words. During all those years together, how many foolish things did I do for you, when your heart already belonged elsewhere? Nothing I said or did mattered. Besides, I paused. I don't want your temporary guilt. Perhaps I'd once fantasized about this moment, the unfaithful lover finally realizing her mistakes. Yet now that it had arrived, there was no satisfaction. When had that brilliant, radiant girl transformed into this shadow? Stop making excuses, I said firmly, or I'll lose all respect for you. She froze, anguish twisting her features. Follow the path you chose. Turning away, I walked off without looking back. That night Ryan called me to bring supper to his remote studio. The streetlights on the desolate path had malfunctioned, plunging the alley into darkness. Two knife-wielding thugs emerged, stealing my belongings and attacking me when they found little cash. During the struggle, a figure rushed over, smashing a rock against an assailant's head. The enraged criminal stabbed twice before fleeing. By the time I processed what happened, Kate lay bleeding on the ground. At the hospital, doctors said the abdominal wounds weren't fatal, but the severed tendons in her right hand would end her painting career. Pale and weak, her first words upon waking were asking if I'd been hurt. It's not that bad. She forced a smile despite my deepening frown. After long hesitation, I told her the truth about her hand. Her smile faltered briefly before she brightened unnaturally. As long as you're safe. But she couldn't maintain the act, trembling as she turned away. Modern medicine works miracles. I attempted. You could try painting left-handed. What if I divorce Noah? She suddenly interrupted, eyes red-rimmed. Could we? There's no we anymore. My interruption was gentle but final. Focus on recovery. The despair in her gaze mirrored broken glass. Stay tonight, she begged tearfully. The person who should be here is Noah, I replied evenly. Yet when night fell, Noah never came. During her surgery, my calls and texts to him went unanswered. When she developed a fever and coughed blood that night, doctors discovered stomach cancer, treatable if addressed promptly. I didn't ask why someone with wealth and status had deteriorated like this. Noah arrived next afternoon, impeccably dressed, badgering doctors about her painting hand while ignoring my presence. Get well? I told Kate. She stared vacantly at the ceiling, silent. Paradoxically, Kate's paintings skyrocketed in value after her injury. News of her iconic Muse paintings auction caused a sensation. Originally famous for depicting her love story with Noah before their marriage, the piece sold for $50 million to a collector. But within days, scandal erupted. Hashtag Noah Carter sells fake art trended alongside hashtag Catherine Williams affair. Two hashtags trended simultaneously. Kate held a press conference, publicly stating that the original Muse artwork had been destroyed long ago and the sold pieces were forgeries created by Noah. On camera, she admitted that the romantic tale behind Muse was actually an ugly extramarital affair, confessing she'd abandoned her husband of 10 years after achieving fame. Netizens erupted, condemning the scumbag couple. Following Kate's report, police investigated the counterfeit art sales. Noah was soon arrested for producing and selling fraudulent goods, facing life imprisonment due to the enormous sums involved. After this, Kate vanished from public view. My life settled into peaceful obscurity like grass growing on riverbanks and leaves sprouting on treetops. The vineyard thrived. 6 months later, a peculiar customer appeared, a 16-year-old French girl who returned every few days to purchase wine. Insisting on my personal blends, she made an unusual request: teach her one Chinese phrase per visit, recording each with meticulous care using a voice recorder. Sometimes simple greetings like good morning or good evening. Sometimes other expressions. On Valentine's Day, she requested I love you. By then, I'd begun dating the woman who managed my estate beautifully. After recording the phrase as requested, the girl suddenly leaned in and whispered, I love you too. I affectionately ruffled her hair before apologizing to my girlfriend. That extra line won't matter, right? My girlfriend pressed her lips in hesitation, but left without comment, clutching her wine bottle. That night, an unknown caller remained silent through prolonged static. Assuming a wrong number, I hung up when my girlfriend called me to dinner. The French girl never returned. Kate's name resurfaced in headlines shortly after Valentine's Day. I stared at the trending tag #Kate Final Masterpiece. News reports revealed her corpse had been found in a dilapidated French farmhouse, ravaged by illness and poverty. Her sole possession was a painting titled Beloved, depicting newlyweds in traditional attire, the bride clutching cotton roses, the groom embracing her tenderly, both faces veiled in ethereal gauze. Art critics hailed it as her magnum opus. Netizens speculated endlessly. Was the painter mourning lost love or celebrating new romance? Staring at the bridal bouquet, memories surfaced. During our wedding year, cotton roses bloomed unprecedentedly early. I'd gathered some, tying them with ribbons. Why not roses? She'd asked. I'd smiled mysteriously, because I prefer what cotton roses symbolize. Epilogue: I married my childhood sweetheart, vowing eternal devotion. Our early poverty couldn't dim our happiness. When did things unravel? Perhaps after losing our first child, that first brutal collision with life's cruelty. Afterwards, Ethan became consumed by work, obsessively budgeting, eyes perpetually fixed on financial spreadsheets. When my paintings didn't sell, he networked relentlessly to secure commercial commissions for me, soulless assignments akin to elementary school essay prompts, existing solely to please clients. I hated it, but treasured his efforts. Our lifestyle gradually improved, yet he remained insatiable, too busy for conversation. He'd introduce me to business associates, toasting obsequiously, "Gentlemen, please support my wife's work." Those pity purchases always came with smirking remarks. Ms. Williams married well. I grew to detest his groveling, suffocating slowly. I even began loathing my own art. Then Noah appeared, quietly watching me paint, reminiscent of young Ethan. He understood and valued my work beyond monetary worth. My gray world regained color. I rediscovered my artistic soul. I admit, I fell helplessly. This pure-hearted youth felt like destiny. Ethan and I, perhaps we'd been wrong from the start. On our 6th wedding anniversary, Ethan discovered our affair, and I made a decision. After leaving Ethan, I felt an immense sense of relief. To my surprise, Vince, the painter I admired most, reached out to meet me. He told me he'd stumbled upon my painting at a street art stall in France and was deeply impressed by my talent. The painting depicted a rustic mountain village with a young man standing on a hillside, though only his back was visible. The vitality captured in those brushstrokes was palpable. I'd created that piece at 18 and gifted it to Ethan, who'd treasured it like rare jade. Now he'd probably sold it off during some cash-strapped moment. That's him. Money always trumped sentiment. Whatever. We were getting divorced anyway. With Vince's mentorship, I successfully held my art exhibition. I'd made it, though Ethan left me with nothing. Earning money had become effortless now. I married Noah in a lavish ceremony. This, I thought, was the life I wanted. But strange things began happening. I kept dreaming of Ethan. Waking at midnight, I'd stare at the man beside me with surreal detachment. My chest hollowed out. I threw myself into painting, locking myself in the studio for days. Ethan used to prepare 3 meals daily, even calling during business trips to ensure I ate and slept. Noah never bothered. After marriage, he rarely discussed art with me. Any complaint from me would send him slamming doors. I started craving Ethan uncontrollably, dining at upscale restaurants with Noah. I'd remember splitting steamed buns in our rented attic, buying Noah expensive gifts. I'd recall our first anniversary when Ethan secretly saved for months to buy me Dior lipstick and Estee Lauder skincare. I'd scolded his extravagance through tears. Then I remembered screaming, "You money, obsessed bastard," during our divorce, the memory now striking me like lightning. Dialing Ethan's number got me disconnected tones. Our old home had new owners. Watching the happy family there, I wondered if I'd discarded within reach happiness. I shook the thought away violently. My choices weren't wrong. Couldn't be. So I redoubled efforts with Noah. Life's cruel irony. Noah cheated. The real him bore no resemblance to my fantasy. He sent shirtless selfies to other women at midnight, calling them babe. Ethan. Now I know how betrayal feels. I was terrible, wasn't I? Noah threatened eternal harassment if I divorced. Powerless. I endured our tomb, like marriage. I kept visiting Ethan's hometown, wherever he was. He'd return eventually. During Qingming Festival, we actually met. He looked radiant, thriving without me. At his parents' grave, he mentioned French vineyards. I memorized every word. Flying frequently to France, I stole glimpses of him. Meeting Ryan after years revealed shocking truth. My success was built on Ethan's silent sacrifices. He never changed. I did. Time eroded our original love and promises. I'd possessed magnificent love and lost it. The realization gutted me. I decided to divorce Noah. He demanded 10 times what Ethan took. I agreed, needing time. At a French art gala, I encountered Ethan. Drawn magnetically, I followed. That night when he was attacked, I instinctively shielded him. Hospital-bound, he still worried for me. Losing an arm to regain Ethan? Worth it. But he denied me the chance. God, how I wanted to grab him as he left. But he vanished like mist. Not even a sleeve to clutch. I suppose this is my karma. In the future, he'll meet someone 1,000 times better than me, while I'll never encounter anyone surpassing him. After returning home, I fell gravely ill. During my hospitalization, Noah never visited. Soon, I learned Muse had been auctioned at astronomical prices, though I'd destroyed that painting myself. The only explanation was forgery. Confronting Noah at our home, I discovered 2 entangled bodies in our bedroom. Our marriage turned out far more sordid than I'd imagined. Noah had a longtime girlfriend who'd accumulated massive gambling debts. He'd married me purely for money. With my painting hand crippled, he proposed splitting the forged artwork's profits if I stayed silent. He claimed to truly love that woman, saying she'd die from unpaid loans. Turns out he did have a heart, just not for me. How pitiful, yet despicable. At the press conference, I ensured we'd both face consequences. On his sentencing day, our divorce finalized. He'd already drained my assets, leaving me destitute, learning to paint left-handed. My crude works still sold on street corners. After 6 months of scraping coins, I finally afforded passage to France. Doctors said my stomach cancer had reached terminal stage. If possible, I wanted to die near him, near Ethan's vineyard. I rented a dilapidated cottage. Kind neighbors with a daughter often helped. I regularly sent the girl to buy wine from Ethan, begging her to secretly record his voice. His whines became my medicine, blurring reality to dull the agony. In dreams, Ethan always appeared wearing tailored suits, gazing tenderly as he whispered, "Kate, we're married." Awake, excruciating longing would flood back, pouring onto canvas. Surprisingly, my left hand could still capture Ethan's likeness perfectly. After all, I'd sketched his features countless times since youth. Painting us together, I titled it Beloved, but Ethan's painted eyes stared accusingly, unsettling me. Surely he hated that word. Defiantly, I added veils obscuring our faces, selfishly preserving the title. If reincarnated, I'd never release his hand again. Curling beside the painting, loneliness and despair consumed me. On Valentine's Day, my body failing, I knew death approached. Time for final indulgence. I asked the neighbor's daughter to record "I love you" from Ethan. She returned empty-handed, apologizing for failing. That night, impulsively dialing Ethan, I heard a woman's playful voice before he hung up. Her coquettish tone, his affectionate response, those were love-struck sounds I knew too well. Finally, I understood he was truly lost to me. Coughing blood, darkness engulfed me. In final moments, the painted bride lifted her veil, holding kapok blossoms as she asked, "Why not roses?" Her groom smiled mysteriously, for the kapok's meaning. Suddenly, I remembered telling Ethan long ago why I cherished kapoks. Their symbolism about treasuring present happiness and those beside you.